What up, bitches? It's me, Johnny Appleseed, and welcome to day 4. So here we have a news article by The Observer. It's titled, TV News Anchors Flock to Periscope in Desperate Attempt to Stay Relevant. Because it's quite painfully obvious that they're not as relevant now as they were 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago in that matter. But let's get on to this article, shall we? Ever since the internet put local TV news anchors on the endangered species list, we've seen them try various tech-inspired schemes to adjust to the times. You mean like how they have Facebook and Twitter pages as well as Vines? Yeah, sure they might work pretty well, but they're not exactly working as well as they thought or hoped. Now, mobile live stream apps like Periscope have caught the attention of the local news anchors everywhere, who were clearly led to believe by the tech hype machine that live streaming is going to be the death of the news business. You notice that claim is ridiculous. Considering that the Battle of Berkeley was live streamed on Periscope not by news anchors, but by people like, say, Nathan Stoltman, Mike Cernovich, and Lauren Southern, that claim isn't as ridiculous as some might think. Most of these feeds are behind the scenes footage of nothing happening from the perspective of the worst camera in the room. Occasionally the same scrappy views from some copied old white guy reading from a teleprompter that you normally see on the local news. Most of the time, it's the silent, uneventful commercial breaks, or the backroom chatter of floor managers and news directors. Turns out, TV studios aren't like episodes of the newsroom, and local news anchors often don't have very much to say when you get the opportunity to meet them as human beings. Yeah, I got nothing to say about this one. Next. It's enough to make you wish there was a high-definition camera in the room with sophisticated microphones, broadcast engineers, and meticulously crafted lighting setup and some prepared statements. You mean like a live newscast on television? I don't know, I'm just gonna assume yes. Moreover, nobody's watching. In terms of audience, only a few dozen people show up at a time for even the country's largest local TV studios, largely because discovering new Periscope feeds is difficult, and so many of these Periscope feeds wind up in everyone's front pages randomly. A year and a half after this article was published, which was like April the 6th of 2015, Twitter started allowing people to link their Twitter accounts with Periscope to make it a lot easier for people to find them online, which helped the app's popularity by a lot. But the worst part is that TV news anchors are just terrible at live streaming. The best live streamers engage heavily with the audience, take requests, and interact with comments. The reason people tune in is because they want to be live on set, reaching through the camera and interacting with the stars. Instead, the chatter is audible and there's no interaction with the streaming audience. Honestly, even if they were good at live streaming, I doubt they'd watch. The only time we could get a real inside look at a newsroom conversation was when one anchor, in the ultimate convergence of irony and tragedy, joked to his guest about how hard it was to get access to the interview in the first place. In another feed, a field reporter simply pointed the camera at his forehead for 5 minutes while waiting for his live shot. And even the big players are struggling to get it right. Brian Stelter got close to doing this right when he started a stream to talk about last night's breaking report from CJR on the Rolling Stone controversy, but self-sabotaged by sitting there staring at his laptop and only briefly looking at the comments or saying something of value. They're probably not used to live streaming. I don't know. I don't know anyone that's a TV news insider. Look, we get it. One of the most tired speculations about mobile live streaming apps like Meerkat and Periscope is these will help citizen journalists kill the television news business. Local television news is under a brash assault from a number of forces. Online news outlets that break news faster and are more shareable, a democratization of video tools, and a credibility problem that is evolving into an ad sales problem. Local TV's problem is the internet and technology, and whatever the hype, simply turning on a hot live streaming app isn't the answer. I'm not sure. It could be part of the answer for all we know. As Annie Lowry points out over at the Daily Intelligencer, there are plenty of reasons live stream platforms are terrible for making and sharing news videos. Let's say that you were at a campaign event and saw a politician lose his cool and scream his face off at a constituent. But let's say it happened 3 hours into the event, meaning that your mom was the only one watching your Meerkat feed by the time the candidate went ballistic. And let's say that you failed to capture and repost the relevant part afterward. Would it go crazy on the internet? The short answer is no. The ability to trim down, to share asynchronously, to annotate, to comment on, these are the pillars of the viral internet, and Periscope and Meerkat erodes them. Again, the ability to link the Twitter account with the Periscope account alleviates that. You know what the best tool to broadcast a protest is? A professional camera that records great sound and audio used by a trained camera person, especially if you're already an organization that already owns these tools. Vice News has known that for years. If you're a professional news organization, find a better way to use the expensive gadgets you have at your disposal before wasting time pouring terrible content into your buzzy ass. In other words, if you're fleeing the Titanic, at least learn how to row a life raft, or choose one that you know will float. First off, on the tool to broadcast a protest, it depends on the size, density, as well as how the protest is going. For example, if a protest is peaceful and small, well, professional per- for example, if a protest is peaceful and small, then a professional camera can actually do the job well. Now, if it's a large protest that's really dense and is as chaotic as the one in Berkeley, then a professional camera would just end up getting broken and smashed. Which reminds me, second, now I'm asking you, do you know what the best tool to broadcast a protest is? It's not a professional camera if it's like, well, Berkeley, for example. And lastly, if there's anything I agree on in this article, it's the last two sentences. And this wraps up today's video. Thank y'all for watching. And as usual, my social media accounts are listed down in the description below. I'm Johnny Appleseed. See y'all later.